Right now, as a coder or a non-coder, most of us are paying for multiple AI coding tools. And that can be a couple of $20 here and there. These tools could be anything like ChatGPT, Codex, Claude Code, or Gemini Code, or any other coding tools. And before we know it, it's sometimes like we are spending over $100 a month, and that adds up to more than $1,000 a year and just on AI. But the problem here is not even about the money. It's how we use these tools. We keep switching between the tabs, copy and pasting between the apps, and we lose our logical flow every few minutes. This slows everything down. And so here's the real question. Why are we paying for these tools if we can build our own system? So if we have any basic GPU that can running like Windows or Linux and have a decent GPU, again, you can actually do the same thing. You can have something like GitHub Copilot Pro experience without paying for it. So welcome to AI Parameters, and in this video we'll build a private AI system that you have full control. I'll show you how to run a local AI model and how to turn a normal Linux machine into your own AI setup that you can access from literally anywhere in the world without even paying a single dollar. That's like having a GitHub Pilot Pro but completely free. So let's build our own AI system together. Before we start typing the commands, let's break down this like how this actually works. It's not just like you open your port on the router and you're basically asking the internet to attack your machine, because even like anyone can try to access it. So instead, we build a simple 4-step system that keeps everything safe. First, we type a prompt in our editor. This is where we generate our request. So our request starts from here. Then to Vercel, that acts like a gatekeeper. It checks if the request is coming from you, because we don't know. We don't want any random people using our system with no key or no entry. So basically we are using Vercel as a gatekeeper. Then if it passes the request moves through a secure Cloudflare tunnel. This is important because your machine is never exposed to the internet. So there is like no open ports or no direct access. So this is an important step here. Then finally it reaches to your Linux machine. So this is the final stage. This is where your AI model runs locally on your own hardware and your data stays with you. So basically we started with the VS Code or any kind of editor. You can use anti-gravity or anything. So this is where your request will start. Then it goes to the Vercel as the gatekeeper. Then again it goes to the Cloudflare tunnel. This is important so that your machine is never exposed to the internet, so you are safe. And then it reaches to your own Linux machine or your whatever the machine you are using, where you are running your own AI model locally. And the result comes straight back to your machine from where you are making the request. So this is like simple, secure, and fully yours. Now that we have understand the flow, let's start building it step by step. So let's start. So first what we'll do is we'll set up the Ollama. So Ollama would be responsible for running the model on our local machine. So if you go on Google and type Ollama here, you'll find this first link. And over here, based on whatever the machines you have, you can set up. So I've already downloaded it and set up, but it's very simple and easy. What you can do is you can just copy the command over here, go to your terminal, paste it, and then it would download and set up Ollama for you. So let's do it. And I'll skip this for now and show you how it would look once it's installed. So once it's installed, it would look like this. And we also need to make sure, as we can see over here, that it's showing that our NVIDIA GPU is installed. So that's important. So now let's check that if it's running or not. So for that, what we can do is like we can write sudo system ctl start Ollama. So this would start the service. And then what we can do is instead of start, we can also write enable here. So now once that's done, so what it would do that Ollama is running now, but by default Ollama only talks to itself, so which means nothing outside the machine can reach it. So if you want, you can use it in this machine, but basically no request from outside can be acceptable by the Ollama. So for that we need to change that. So we tell Ollama to listen on our network by setting its host to the different setting. So let's do that. So for doing that, what we can do is we can just write, instead of enable, we can do edit here. And once we have this edit setting, we just need to add like a service at the end. So in the service, I have already added environment Ollama host to 0000. So you just need to add this 0.0.0.0. So this line is very important here. So once we add this, it would help us earn our Ollama. And now once that's done, now what we need to do is we just need to reload everything. So what we can do is sudo systemctl, and we can have on re-execute. And once that's done, it's restarted, and then we can restart Ollama. And once that's started, so now we have set up Ollama, and now it's ready to listen for the outside network. Now basically what we'll do is we'll run the Chuan3 coder, which is the latest model. So what we can do is we can find here Chuan3 code. So there are two models, but for now I'll use Chuan3 coder. If you guys want, you can try with the another model as well. So as we can see, it's showing that Chuan3 coder 30 billion is the latest model. Its size is 19 gigabytes, context is 256,000, and the input type is text. So we'll use this one here. So it's pretty simple. If you want to run this, you can just run Ollama run, and then it would start running by itself. So I'll come back to my terminal, and I'll put this. So it's now copied to 56K. So what we can do is we can just paste the command. So basically it would download Chuan3 coder 30 billion model, and as we can see that this is having 30 billion parameters. So this is a very strong coding models, and after doing this it would run fully on our local machine, no internet needed after once installed. And now we need to bring it online without exposing it, but let's run it. So it would download the model fully on your local machine, and once it would start downloading, I'll pause the video, and now I'll restart the video once that's downloaded. So now once the model is running, we can see something like this here, and we can write a message. So what we can do is like write a Python script for linear regression in PyTorch, and we can give it a try. So now as we can see, the Python script is completed and it looks good. So now we can move to the next step, and the next step would be like how we can install the Cloudflare tunnel. So we bring this model online to the network without exposing it. So let's start with that. So what we can do now is we can install the Cloudflare, and for that we just need to use the command that's mentioned here, and once that's done it would install the Cloudflare to the latest version that they have. Now once that is ready, what we need to do is we need to start our tunnel to the Ollama port. So let's do that. So we can do Cloudflare tunnel. So it would create the tunnel, and then we can give the URL http 11434. So once we run it, it would start working, and it would request like a new quick tunnel using the Cloudflare, and which gives us like a secure public URL. And this is important because our machine is now accessible from anywhere but still protected. And it's protected because there is no open port, there is no direct exposure, and our AI is online, but still it's fully under control. So now we'll move to the next part, that would be like how we can install our Gatekeeper using Vercel. So let's start with that. Now we need to install the Vercel as the Gatekeeper, and this is a very important part. If we share the Cloudflare link directly, anyone could use it, and that means they could run our GPU, and that would cost us money, and that's not safe. So we need a Gatekeeper. So what we'll do is we'll build a small Next.js app, and we'll deploy it to Vercel, and that act like a filter. Every request goes through it first, And inside our API route, we add a simple check. If the request doesn't include our secret key, we'll stop it immediately. And the reason behind using Vercel is because it's free, it's fast and easy to set up. So what we can do is we can go to Vercel, and in the Vercel, so this is how Vercel looks, and you can see this is the hobby, so this is not the paid one. So I think for this project the free version is also fine. If you have the paid one, that's well good, but we don't need it. So to set up the Vercel, what we can do is we can see like our tunnel is running, our Ollama is running. So what I'll do is I'll create a new terminal, and in this terminal what you can do, you have to just make sure that you have Next.js installed. So you can find on Google how to do that. But for setting up the Vercel, what we can do, npx create next app. So I'm using all the recommended settings here. So we have created the app with the AI gateway and all the recommended settings, no change at all here. So now we have gotten this message that it's success. So it's created and it's in this path. So what we can do is like we can do cd AI gateway, and now we can install the Vercel -g. So once we install the Vercel, now everything is installed here. So we just need to do the login. For doing the login, it's very simple. Vercel login. Now it would open it. So as we can see, the authorization is complete. So what we can do is we can go back, and now everything is running here. So now inside the project, we need to create an API route that would act as a gatekeeper. So for doing that, what I can do is I can create a new folder, which is would be like a API proxy. So let's do app API proxy, and then oh sorry, I just need to use -p. And once that's created, what we can do is we can use the touch command to create the file. So API proxy, and I would create the file route.ts. Now what we need to do is we need to add the gatekeeper logic. So I'll start with adding it here. So what we can do is we can just use the vi command to add it, and so we can just paste this logic. So basically this is just the post command, and then if there is an authorization, only if this is the key AIP secure 2026, otherwise it would give the unauthorized access, and this is just the comment here. So we can just save this. So now once we have added that, what we can do is we can just give Vercel prod, and then that would ask that should we just set up and dipping project. No, because this is a new project. What's your project's name? I would just keep it same, AI gateway. In which directory? Same. Want to modify these settings? This. Do you want to change additional settings? No. So now it would deploy. So now once the app will be installed and deployed, we can have this message here. So this makes sure that everything runs successfully and everything seems good. So now what we can do is we can go to this link and see how it's working. So let's go there. In the Vercel, we can see everything is ready, production base. So everything seems good for now. So now this URL will become our main entry point. So instead of exposing our machine, everything goes through this secure layer. So which is simple, secure, and safe. So now if we see this, this is the Cloudflare. So in the Cloudflare, this is my public URL that I can access. And this is my Vercel, and for the Vercel, these are my URLs for the Vercel, and I can see that my Ollama is running. So from here I can have a look that my Ollama model, the Chuan 3 coder model, is running. So now the thing come up is Cloudflare give us a public URL, and in our case this is my public URL, but we don't have the link to our Vercel now. So we need to create that link now. So if anyone gets that link, they can send the request to our machine, and that means they can use our GPU, and which can increase our power bill, and it's not safe. So instead we would put Vercel in front of it. So Vercel becomes our gatekeeper. First we created like a small Next.js project that we connected to Vercel, and it's already deployed here. And now we have like our Vercel URL. This is the only link we want to use from now on. So inside our like route.ts file that we created, we add one simple check. If the request does not contain our secret key, we need to stop it immediately. So that means like if there is no key, then there is no entry. And if the key is correct, then the Vercel forwards our request to our Cloudflare tunnel, which then sends to Ollama running in our model. So now we have like all the paths ready. We just need to connect all the paths together. So let's edit the route.ts file for now. So now we'll update our route file. So for this we can again use the vi command. And once we have the vi command, what we need to do is we'll just update the post command, and this was from before only, but now we need to add our Cloudflare public URL. So make sure you are entering your correct URL. This is my personal URL. For your, what you can do is you can go to the Cloudflare, and you can check what is your URL from here. So you can just copy and paste that into the next JS file, and once that, I think this is ready, I'll paste this file for you guys in the comments. And once you have this ready, what we need to do is and once that's saved, we just need to send it to the Vercel production. So this is how we just make it to the prod file. So let's send it. So now once this done, as we can see from here, and we can also check it on the Vercel if we want. So we can go over here, go into the deployments, and we can see that it's ready now. So now the Vercel is connected with our Cloudflare. So that's good. So we have almost completed all the steps for setting up. So now this is our endpoint. So this is our main endpoint, and this is the URL we plug into our tools, not the Cloudflare URL. The Cloudflare links stays hidden behind the Vercel. So remember that, that's important. So now we have something that is simple, that is private, and under our control. And now we can use our laptop or mobile that can talk to Vercel. Then Vercel talks to Cloudflare. Cloudflare talks to Ollama, and Ollama runs on our Linux machine. So that's our whole system. So now what we can do is we can connect this thing like this one using VS Code. So let's move to the VS Code. So I'm using VS Code. You guys can use anything, whatever you use for the IDE. So let's go to VS Code, and if you go to the extension here and search for continue. So the continue is the best one and easy to set up. So we can write continue here. So I have already installed. And once you install this, you can go to the continue here on the left side, it would show you. And I've already configured, so it's showing me join local. That's what we want. But basically what you guys have to do at the first is go to this load config and click on this settings option here. So once you open this, we have to set up this. So this is telling them, so this is setting up the configuration and telling that the name of the model is join local provider OpenAI. We can put anything here. We have put this, we have put the API base that we have, and we have put API key here. And once you do it, next time you restart the continue, you can find this thing that it would show you that the join local is coming. So that means our deployment is successful, and now you can successfully start using it for free. So basically whatever the request you would make here is going and running on your local machine. So isn't that cool? So I have a git clone some random file here, and I can go it anywhere and give it a try if it's actually working or not. So I've opened this file, and what I can do is I can select this one, and then what I'll do is I'll copy it. So I'll just copy this one and paste it here, and I'll write it. So I'm just giving it. So basically, as we can see that our route is not listening, as we can see over here. So we have found a small bug that we can fix very quickly. So what we can do is we can go to the terminal, and instead of, we need to just change the path of this route. So we'll run this command. It would create a completion folder. Inside a completion folder, we'll create the route in the new file, as we can see over here. And once this is the Cloudflare link, and once this link is done, what we can do is we can again run it for the Vercel prod. And once that's done and that's deployed, what we can do for the sanity check is you guys can come over the VS Code and you can try passing this. So basically this is passing the model and the message. So the message and the role is the user, and the content that we are passing is say hello. And if we can see something like this, that means it's working well and good enough. So now we are sure that our API and our code is working. So basically we are making the curl request over here, and it's checking if we are able to access our backend or not. So now basically now you can access GitHub Pro level coding skills from anywhere, and it's even better than the GitHub Pro if you see the benchmarking. And now I have passed the same code. I've copied and pasted this code and say, could you please write in PyTorch? And as we can see, it's written now. So now our deployment is complete, and then it's safe, and you can run your own local AI for free. And you don't have to pay even a single dollar for the pro level coding skills. And just like that, we now have our own AI backend running locally, which is secure and accessible from anywhere. If you want to build this yourself, everything is in the description. And if anything breaks or doesn't work, just comment. I'll help you to fix it my best. And if you find this useful, please like the video and subscribe, and more builds coming soon. Thank you so much.